Hello there, many thanks for joining us on the Midweek Business News Report. It's now time to bring you some of the stories making the headlines as taxation in Nigeria also takes focus. We are looking at Nigeria beginning another fiscal year going by the signed 2022 budget by President MohammeduBuhari. The Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria has called on the government to optimize the generation capacity of the country from taxes in order to boost its revenue. The President of the CITN, MrAdesinaAdedayowho, made the assertion while addressing journalists in Lagos on the sideline of activities to celebrate the Institute's 40th anniversary with the theme Evolution of Taxation. As a profession, the birth of CITN expressed satisfaction in the country's tax administration system, both at state and federal levels. He also explains that with the proposed Finance Bill 2021, government would also need to expand the tax net in order to tackle its recurring budget deficits and be able to fund key infrastructure projects across the country. Mr. Adedayo also notes that a sustainable and adequate revenue mobilization mechanism is a function of an effective tax system, maintaining that a reformed tax policy would enhance investments in the country and the economy and also promote voluntary tax compliance.
The tax system has evolved. In fact, it has dramatically evolved because I remember some years past, the issue of tax was not featuring on the agenda of most people. Even when businesses want to establish presence, they do not look at the tax issue as something that needs to be taken seriously. But this has evolved over time because you can see the development at the administrative level. This has shown that the tax administrative system has developed to a state where you talk about Federal Revenue Service, you talk about Lagos Internal Revenue Service, you talk about the various states, and you see the impact of what they are doing.
Whatever amount Nigeria is currently generating from taxation, I'm bold to say, and you can quote me anywhere, Nigeria can double the amount. We have potential of doubling the amount as minimum. If only we harness the revenue, if only we block the leakages, if only we introduce more seriousness to the governance.
And in this next report now, in a bid to manage the economic challenges anchored by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the Central Bank of Nigeria invested in numerous monetary policy decisions to revive the economy in what could be termed as the post-pandemic era. With the introduction of several policies such as Naira devaluation, introduction of the Naira for Dollar scheme for diaspora remittances, the ban of sale of foreign exchange to border change operators, amongst others, analysts continue to argue that the gap in exchange rates still remains widened, making it difficult for businesses to source for forex, while limiting the top-line performance for consumer goods. Now, speaking earlier in a broadcast on TVC, we had AfriInvest West Africa Investment Officer Robert Omotunde, who says that policies of the Apex Bank was focused more on the economic recovery from the downside of the COVID-19 pandemic rather than economic growth as against the expectations of many.
When you look at the core of monetary policy in 2021, it seemed as though the Monetary Policy Authority focused on the recovery, because after the 2020 episode of slow economic growth, the central bank has been pursuing a consistent policy to recatalyze the economy, more like reflate growth. We saw some of the impact, which we term to be somewhat a recovery of what we saw in 2020 as not so much as to see the level of growth we would have expected to see. The way we interpret it is we merely just recovered in 2021. Now, that policy objective of central bank has been more tilted towards, other objectives, whilst they are still trying to keep their mandate of price stability.
Well, that was Robert Omotunde speaking there. Now bringing you highlights of trading. As said yesterday, Asian stocks were firmer following Wall Street's record highs on its first day of trading for the year 2022, despite worries that widespread Omicron COVID-19 variant could put the brakes on global economic recovery. MSCI's gauge of Asia-Pacific stocks outside Japan was up 0.67% in earlier sessions, and Australia's S&P ASX 200 also climbed 1.15%, boosted by energy and mining stocks, while Japan's Nikkei also gained 1.25%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index and China's benchmark, the CSI 300 Index, also opened up 0.5% and 0.25% respectively. The Dow Jones Industrial Average also rose 0.68%, while the S&P 500 gained 0.64% and Nasdaq Composite added 1.2%. Well, wrapping up business news at this hour too, we are also looking at oil prices on the international market, which attempted to steady as investors embrace expectations that oil producers would also add up to supply after the meeting from OPEC. US West Texas Intermediate crude recorded a dip in price of 0.41% to hit $75.77 per barrel. Brent crude now sells at $78.68 per barrel, recording a downward price margin of 0.38%. Bonolite's performance was also in the red territory with a 1.79% decline, selling at $77.70 per barrel. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers offered $77.97 per barrel with an uptick of 5.04%. Well, that's it from the business desk. Many thanks for watching so far. Do have a wonderful day ahead.